Hi everyone, welcome back. I was in here doing some work and I was forgetting to film because I was too busy working to get this thing ready to go to a different track. If you're new to the channel or a returning viewer or subscriber, thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Please subscribe if you have not. And if you think you got some friends or somebody you know who might be interested in race car stuff or mechanics, fabrication, backwoodsy stuff, shade tree, essentially, mechanicery, if that's a word, send them my way. It doesn't cost you nothing to subscribe. You get some videos, maybe a hair of entertainment, a lot of laughs at me, and maybe some action along the way, which is what I'm intending to do this week because I'm getting the car ready, well, this car ready, to go to Stafford. I hadn't planned on doing this, but since my race at Thompson got canceled, and since we've been kind of meh all year long, I figured, why don't we just go race at Stafford? They got like 3 races left. I got an extra week to get ready. They should be racing tonight, but they don't have it on their calendar every year. They take specifically this week off, and I don't know why. I've never asked them, but it doesn't matter to me. It's not my business. But the car is legal for Stafford. Like, I have a Stafford sticker for inspection sitting on the roof still from 2020. It's been about 3 years, but I haven't been up there yet. I ran that one race this year for Kyle, and I appreciate that because it was nice to get laps there again. I really like the place. Anyway, what I keep tripping over is the rear end that I was working on last video. Actually, you can see that it's done. I actually have the correct wheel spacers on it. I got that, well, done, I suppose. I got the wheel spacers I want to run. I got the spring pockets. I got the gears fixed. I got a coat of paint on it. Doesn't it look nice? It's the right gear. I got the lines run. I'm just waiting for a package to come in tomorrow, which is, I think, Saturday. I don't even know what day it is half the time. But I got those coming. I got that caliper, the hose, and brake pad set up. There, I had to dig for that one. Those are on the way. I got the mufflers. I'm cleaning them out right now. You can see they were a little rusty from sitting, and, you know, exhaust tends to condense a lot of water in it. They do get rusty, so that should go right on. I'm hoping that I don't have to move the exhaust around too much because I really hate to have to redo the exhaust again because I already did it. And if I just can tack on to what I'm already running but not run it out the door like I have down here, because they don't let you. They want you to put turn downs on it and put it down under the car. Well, if it's under the car, it's under the car, right? So that's what I'm trying to do right now. Once I get that done, the rear's got to get changed. I got to change a few springs. I got to change the carburetor spacer. And then, shoot, put some used tires on some wheels. I think that's it. I know, you all saw it. Are you using hose clamps to hold your exhaust on? And the answer is yes, because these are stainless steel hose clamps. And if you use enough of them, your exhaust doesn't fall off. Trust me, I've used them for 20 years. No problem. You don't need to go to all this trouble of using fancy hangers and stuff. Right to the chassis, no problem. Next on the list is the mandated carburetor spacer, which they make you buy. And they produce it, but at least they know that that's one less thing they have to tech for literally everybody. I think every single car, every single division has to run one of these. It is a solid piece. I mean, this thing is all billet aluminum. That is And you wouldn't think aluminum's that heavy, but that's a hefty chunk. So I got to go trade the one out that's under there. And then I think the engine compartment should be pretty good. Well, drive line minus the... We're not ready yet. Alright, carburetor spacer plate's done. Now I'm legal there. Might have to change the lower base on my carburetor because I think they might require a specific type. Not sure, I'm going to look into the rules. However, it did take me all of the bolts that I could find, all the bolt bins, to find the bolts necessary to be able to put this carburetor on this exact spacer plate, because the bolts have to pass through the spacer plate. On my other one, they didn't. So I could buy 4 bolts that were exactly the same size, and then I had 4 studs in the spacer plate, and I could slide it back and forth and stuff. No issue. This thing, nope, this is how it's mandated. That's what I got to use. So, of course, this was the bolt that I couldn't find, and it was in the last bolt box that I was looking for, which was the one that I did not expect to find anything in. So, of course, that's how that works. Anyway, I need to go inside, start researching the rule book a little bit better, start looking at the parts that I still have and see what I can change over for this thing. And I still have to wait for parts to come in tomorrow, so I think I'm going to call it for tonight and come back out tomorrow. We'll finish the rear, and I will have a better idea of what I need to do come tomorrow, and we'll see how that goes. So we'll see you then. It's the next day. I got me a box of goodies sitting here. So I'm gonna set that up and put all that together on the rear end. That'll have that ready to go in. Then I gotta drop this one out. Let me show you what I got so that you can see my theory behind what I'm talking about. I wish they sponsored me. That would be nice. But I got me a box of stuff, which is really not fancy. I got 2 calipers, rebuilt. I didn't go for new because who cares? They're basically new anyway. I got these, but I'll show you that in a minute. I've even bought the banjo bolts because I don't think the calipers come with banjo bolts. I got some stock pads because I don't go too aggressive with the rear pads with an open diff car. Because if you go too aggressive, you're just going to wheel hop into every single corner. And instead of like special fittings and braided hoses and all this expensive crap, I bought just the flex hose. I mean, it's literally meant to withstand brake pressure. It's not going to be in the rain. If you replace it every once in a while, that's fine. What's the difference? I mean, except for the fact that this cost me like nothing and all those expensive racing parts cost like 2-3 times as much. Who cares? So I'm going to put it together and I'm going to show you exactly what my theory is going forward. I forgot to mention this earlier. When you're using brake pads for race use that are stock, like I don't want a lot of braking. Like I mentioned earlier, I don't want a lot of braking force when we've got an open diff because I don't want to wheel hop a whole ton, but it'll still slow you down pretty good. You still got a lot of stock factory options that you got to get rid of, like this little spring that holds it into the caliper. The reason why you get rid of that is because you might have to run these spacers because the rear disc is a little bit smaller in width, or a little thinner, I should say, than the front, because these are supposed to be front calipers. What we run is we run a bigger GM spindle in the front, like an Impala, Camaro, whatever. And then in the back, we run a metric style caliper because the braking force is obviously going to be less than the front. And we run a less, I mean, you can do it by feel. You can put whatever pads on you want. You can do whatever. But since the calipers are meant for front brakes, which are about an inch and whatever they are, inch and a quarter wide, these are only like, I forget what they are exactly. It's over 3/4 of an inch. It's 0.87 something or other there. It's like 7/8 of an inch or 13/16. I forget how wide they actually are. But they're only about this wide, so you got to space them out with these. That's why you come in and you knock this little tab off, because it will not work with that little piston spacer. And you knock this thing off because that ain't going to work either. So just nice and flat. Just get rid of them. And then this little squeaker here, it's just riveted on. Just drill that out and you'll end up with that. And that's pretty much all you need to do. Well, that took a lot longer than it should have, but not for the reasons you'd expect. I found, not this one, but that one. That brake would not slide back and forth on the pins. So I'm thinking, well, maybe the mount's bent, so I spent an hour sweating, swearing, whatever the case is, just getting that mount straightened out enough that the caliper will slide on the pins now nice and free. I didn't want that brake to hang up, or any brake, honestly, to hang up, or like when you hit it, it won't retract because it's not physically able to on the slide pins. So that's what I've been doing literally the whole time. Now I got to find a place to put this. I have to clean up a bunch of stuff. I have way too many tires in here because I don't want to leave them outdoors, because they're not any good if you leave them outdoors. Obviously, they're all used because I can't afford new tires. Well, not all the time, but not this many new tires. Let's be fair. I got to get this thing, just check it for straight, make sure. I don't want to waste a whole bunch of time and put it in and then figure out it's not straight. Then I got to get this one out somehow and find a place for that. I don't know where. It is literally hours later. I don't even know what I'm doing, guys. Like, I thought this thing would I didn't even take the wheel off yet. I forgot what the heck I was doing. I just lost a whole lot of time. I think I was busy up front. Yeah, that's what I was doing. I was looking for the proper stud for the air cleaner base that I'm supposed to be running. But I got the old lid flip on her because the stud that I put in doesn't fit. And I can't keep it like that. I got to find the actual one. And I think I am completely out of threaded rod. So I think I might have to spend some time going to get parts and hardware. And I'm really kind of bored with cleaning, and the race is on. So I think I might just save all this for Monday. Besides, I was thinking about taking a trip up north to Parts Place and seeing if I can get some hardware and some piping because the stuff that I have is not quite enough. I'm looking for like 1/2 inch, and I don't know where that came from, but hey, working in the garage, you're going to get it on you. But anyway, I think I'm going to pause until Monday because I need to regroup and see what I can do about cleaning up and getting enough room in here to even put a rear end in. And man, it is tough when you got 2 cars in one spot for them. By the way, figured I'd put this out in the open. This car or the late model, unofficially for sale. I say unofficially because I haven't put them up for sale. Basically, whichever one gets the best deal for whatever the car is, I'll just sell it because I need the room. If it's this car, so be it. Somebody wants to give me the great deal for it, I'll sell it. If it's the late model and somebody wants to give me a good deal for that, that's for sale too. I don't know. But until that deal comes, I'm hanging on to them. So anyway, I found some more parts and stuff while digging around, and I'll put them on later. But for now, I think I'm going to go start my weekend off by putting my feet up and watching the last 300 laps of this Bristol race. So see you tomorrow or Monday, whenever I'm out here. All right, it's Monday, a couple days later. Story time. I spent a lot of this, and if you can hear the rain, rainy morning on my day off, going around and calling about 6 or 7 different steel and sheet metal places around my area. And I was looking for sheet metal to replace the plastic so that I could try to make the car legal for Stafford. I'm still on the hunt because it was the most frustrating thing I've done lately. And it made me want to put my late model together even more because this was just ridiculous. Now, what happened was I was quoted at one place at, I don't know, about $60 for a sheet, which I thought was quite low, to be honest, so I figured that wasn't true. They didn't have the exact quote. They said they'd call me back. Never called me back. Okay. Then I called them last. So I called a bunch of places in between. But I called them last. They picked up the phone and then hung up. Like they didn't want to talk. So, okay, fine. I won't call you again. All the other places I called in between either didn't sell it or didn't know if they sold it. Okay. I called one place that said flat out, which is actually a large steel distributor in the area. They just said flat out, no, we don't sell that kind of stuff. Like, you're not going to look or ask anybody? Or no, we don't sell it. Like, okay. I've bought it from you in the past 3 times, but okay. I guess you don't sell it. Went to another place, and bless their heart, they did have the stuff I was looking for. And I went there, got my feet wet walking 3/4 of the way around their building because I had no idea where the entrance was. Got to their counter, talked to them. Guy went in the back, found it, said, yep, we got 3 of them. How many you need? I said, I need 2. Okay, all right, we'll go ring you up. They rang it up, and it was $370 for 2 pieces of sheet metal. Okay, I said, thank you for your time, and walked out empty-handed. Called another place. They said they had it, and he couldn't give me an exact price because his boss wasn't there. I'm surprised they don't have this stuff written down at the counter. But anyway. But they gave me a decent price, which was about $75. So I'm like, okay, it's not so bad. I guess I got options still, but I was pretty much over it. So I came home empty-handed after driving my truck for an hour all over the place, running errands. So that's pretty much how my day went, and I'm now cold and wet. So we're off to a good start, and I probably only have 2 hours of work time before my kid gets home and I have to get him off the bus. Terrific. And I'm planning on racing Friday. So instead of me telling stories about doing all this stuff, I think I need to just get to work because this thing ain't gonna fix itself. So the rear's got to get out. That has to get swapped. I gotta put springs in the front. I gotta put shocks in the front. And then maybe we'll figure out sheet metal for the body. Maybe I'll just go in the pile and go grab the old stuff and just slap that back on and make it look like a rusty old hot rod. Maybe I'll just go with the body the way it is and hope for the best, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, we gotta get to work. So I didn't get anything done again. Rear end's bent a little bit, which I expected, because when you weld it, they're gonna move a little bit. So it's not that far. I can bend it back straight. I did get the left front addressed. We still gotta check ride heights and stuff. I got the shocks ready. I just gotta swap the rear once I straighten that. We're not that far off. I gotta put the different springs in the rear too, and then we gotta adjust ride heights and stuff, but that's really a one-day thing. It is only Monday, and I did goof. We do only have 2 races at Stafford left. I thought there was 3, but there's 3 on the schedule, but only 2 weeks left. There's 2 days in a row that they go and all this other stuff. But I did get a phone call back from the place that didn't call me back earlier, and they gave me a price on steel that was far better than I expected. So I think tomorrow, when I get out of work, if I get out of work on time, because they close up at like 3:30, I will hopefully be able to shoot over there, but I don't know at this point, so fingers crossed. Or maybe I could just contract somebody to go get that for me, but I guess we're gonna have to wait till tomorrow because I got a podcast to get ready for, and I got literally 3 minutes to go get my kid off the bus right now, so I have to go wash the blood off of me and do that. So I'll see you tomorrow. So I'm back. It's Tuesday. I'm really trying to get this thing done. I got steel. I got 2 sheets because, well, the doors are already metal. I don't like having the idea of plastic doors. That and fiberglass, like a late model, no. You got to have at least aluminum, which is what those late model doors are. There's some metal ones here. That's good. At least I don't have to do those. I got some of the fenders off. I got 2 sheets here. They're a little heavier than I wanted, but I mean, in all honesty, you get a little bit too thin on the sheet metal and it starts tearing and breaking off, and it just doesn't have the durability. But again, it's weight, so I'm gonna be taking a little bit of weight off the car. It's probably only gonna be about 20 pounds, something like that, but I got enough to spare. It's not gonna be a big deal. I'm working on it right now. I got the front fenders off like I just showed you. I'm working on the rear, so time lapse, and I gotta get back to work because, again, when you're working on this type of stuff, you think, oh, I got plenty of time. Then you look and you're like, oh, I gotta go tomorrow, and it looks like this. So no, we're trying to get this thing done. I need at least a full day to get the setup done. So I'm gonna grab my tripod, throw you on time lapse, and we're gonna get going because it ain't gonna get done on its own. If you ever go through the trouble of making your own body panels like I do, you take the sheet of sheet metal that you're going to use, or whatever, lay it out flat on the ground. I think over here is probably the nice flattest place I got, except for in there, but car's kind of there and can't move. Lay them out kind of like this, you know, where you would take and you would overlap them a little bit for your old panels. Use those as templates. Then you can just mark them with a marker, cut them out, and you're good to go. You just slap them right back on. It's as simple as that. There's no cutting, measuring, or, well, there's a lot of cutting, but there's not a lot of like figuring and measuring and all that sort of thing. It's basically just plug and play. Trace, cut, stick back on the car. Well, I got almost all of it done until I needed stitches. That's gonna slow me down. Okay, be back in a minute. All right, thanks to my wife for getting me some butterfly enclosures and saving me some stitches. But I got all the stuff cut, sitting there, sitting there. I'm gonna need all the brake clean because these things come oiled so they don't rust, even though they are rusty anyway. Got that one, got that one. I'm gonna try to blow the collected rubber out from inside the car here, down the old pipes and Nerf bars and stuff. Then I'm gonna get them all mounted up. Then I'll show you the fun part, which is I'm gonna have to take all this brake parts cleaner, like I just said, wipe all this down, throw trash bags over stuff, and start spray painting because I don't wrap my cars because it's too expensive and I'm gonna ruin it anyway. I came to the extreme realization that this thing is probably gonna take all of my time this week to get done. With how much I have to do, it's just unbelievably difficult. However, this is on. I just gotta radius the wheel well and put the body mounts on, which are down here, and I usually bolt it to the bumper as well, just for a little added strength. That's just a couple drills. I gotta drill this one to the bumper. Body mounts on the bottom are on, so that's the only thing I have to do in the front is drill the fronts. See, I use carriage bolts and big washers so that they can go all the way through. I'll be honest with you though, you probably want to use a nut with a washer, like a lock washer, instead of these nylock nuts, because these things just spin. Anyway, that aside, the body is on now. So now it's legal for Stafford. The rear end is straight. I didn't trust those welds to stop grease from getting out, so I threw a little bit of orange whatever RTV that I had hanging around. So like I said, I'm really up against the clock. I haven't been filming, and I apologize. I'm sure you missed all the action of the time lapses, but I got the body line bent. You can actually kind of see the corner down there. I got to put this porta power away. I need to do the back and put the body mounts on. It's like 2 1/4-inch holes and a 5/16 hole in the back. And I think it's 5/16 holes in the front, but it's coming. We got to just we got to rip the tires off so that I can roll fenders. And how I roll fenders is I take about a 1/2 inch of it and I take a pair of pliers and just start working it in like this until it gets to about a right angle. And then I take a body hammer and a block of wood, and I put the block of wood on the back, and I swing up from the inside, and I knock the roll into the fender, so that instead of having this really jagged, sharp, weak fender, it's got a lip on it, and it's smooth. So if you need to pull it out, or if anything happens, you're not going to cut a tire as easily. It's a much better idea. Again, I do apologize for not throwing time lapse or filming right now, because I am really up against it. Like, talking right now is taking precious time. I still have to swap this rear for that one. I don't even have room for it. I have to take all these tires sitting over here in this corner and put them on wheels, which I don't have. So I'm gonna have to find wheels to put on. I might have enough, but anyway. I gotta put the front shocks back in because they're stock instead of the relocated ones I'm used to using. I got the stud done for the carburetor like first thing today because I bought some threaded rod. I gotta swap the sway bar because the crew chief wants to try it, but I still have to get it fixed because it's not fixed yet. I have to letter the car, I have to paint it. What else do I have to do? Tighten the ball joints, fuel tires, caster camber toe, scale, and it is currently 9 p.m. on Tuesday. And I have to be done by Friday. But if I get the body completely done tonight and I can paint it tonight, which, oh, you'll love this. This is my normal thing. I just use spray paint. But not just any spray paint. I'm using the turbo cans. Yep. I found these ridiculous sized things. I swear to God. You know what? I'm going to go find a regular sized paint can to compare this with. There we go. There's a little scale for you. Regular sized paint can, turbo paint can. That is about, let's see here. Yeah, that's 2 paint cans, exactly. Like from this lip here, that is 2 paint cans. 4 times faster. I'm not advertising for these people, but you know, these things are just comically, holy crap, I got things trying to kill me like usual. I already made redneck stitches today. This is what I'm going to be painting with. I figured that's the equivalent of 4 paint cans, and it was about the cost of it as well. But I still have to do what I said. I got to roll the fenders. I got to trim everything. I got to bolt it up. I got to go. And I'm sorry, I'm not probably going to time-lapse a lot of this. I'm just going to show you the end result at the end of the night because I still got 2 more days to get this thing done. I wiped the car down until I didn't have any residue come up off the rag, and I used this Amazon brake parts cleaner that I picked up in a 12-pack over there. Who knows if that'll work or if I'll get horrific fish eyes and cracking like I did last time, but race car. I tried taping off as much as I could. I'm going to grab a piece of cardboard and use it as a little shield when I go to spray it. But I got this, which I don't know why, but I held on to it forever. But I could never wear it because I had glasses. But it's like a brand new face shield with the filters. So I'm going to wipe this bad boy off and blow it out with an air hose. Hopefully there's no mouse in it. And I'm going to throw this on and I'm going to start shaking turbo cans up and we're going to get painting just because it is 10 o'clock at night. I'm exhausted. I didn't think I'd put a whole body on the car in one day or even one afternoon because I didn't even get the steel to the house until like 2:30. And I don't think that's very bad to be putting paint on it now. I just want it to be able to dry in plenty of time so that I can put letters on it Thursday. Give it plenty of time to cure, I guess. But then that'll just leave me with swapping the rear, which is an hour. Then I got to bleed brakes, which will leave me a little bit. I've swapped so many rears out, it's not even funny. But all right, enough talk. I got to clean this thing out. I want to go to bed, and I'm disgusting, so I got to clean up after that. But let's do this. I think I'm too fat for this. Look at my cheeks. Anyway, I'm ready. Let's set the camera up and let's coat my garage in overspray. That should be good, right? Okay. Here we go. Holy crap. That's a lot. Okay. This is the stupidest thing I've ever done. Guys, I'm standing outside. The mask definitely didn't do anything. This is why I wanted to do this last. I am literally sticky everywhere. Let's go in real quick and just see what happened. I've had some stuff overspray before, but my God, it's everything. Everything is oversprayed. There is white flecks just everywhere. I mean, I'm glad I kind of covered up the brakes and stuff. But look, it got the frame. I mean, everything is white. Whether I wanted it to be or not, it is. Oh, that's, yeah, let's not use that on paint. That was used to clean my arms off. It's so thick. You have to move at turbo speed in order for this turbo can to really coat properly. I don't think it even touched here. Like, I don't know how you'd miss that. It's literally on the car. I mean, my God. I can't breathe. I mean, you can see it's thick. Like, and I was taking my time. I was trying to do coats and be gentle. And oh my God, my entire brake system is white. Well, while it's still wet, I'm going to go get my brand new brake parts cleaner that I bought because paint does not like this stuff. And I'm going to go clean everything. Oh, in about, let's say about 30 minutes. I got wise and opened the big door, and I'm standing next to it. Luckily, this brake parts cleaner I got really kills paint. That's good. Took a lot of it off. And quick order, too. Only wasted 2 cans of it. Oh, it's going to be a bad day tomorrow. Anyway, would I recommend the turbo cans? They are as advertised, I'll tell you that. If you're painting a trailer or a school bus or a house and you don't need to worry about overspray, cool. If you're painting your brother's 86 Camaro underneath a tree that's been sitting there for 20 years, great. If you're trying to do precision work, no, don't do that. That will not work. However, I did do a good job cleaning the body this time because I'm not getting any fish eyes or cracking or anything like that. It's probably the sheer volume of paint that was just laid up on it that just completely overtook anything in its path. But I went through basically one entire can, and that's like the equivalent to 2 regular cans. So I'm getting the heck out of this cancer-riddled place. I'm going to get a drink. I'm going to relax, even though that'll probably only be a half an hour of my night. And I got to come back immediately tomorrow. I've got to go to the welding supply place and get oxygen and acetylene because I'm completely out. And apparently I go through that a lot more than I thought. So see you tomorrow. All right, back in the shop, banging my knee on things already. I untaped the car. Doesn't look bad. I'll probably show you the different wide angle in a minute, but the agenda for today is going to be getting the rear swapped out and all the rest of the remaining stuff attached and done so that the car can go on scales, essentially. So, like, when I swap the rear, I'm going to have to swap the rear springs. I'm going to have to bleed the brakes. I'm going to have to just make sure it's nut and bolted properly. So that's step 1. And then, I don't really know after that. So I got to consult the list. Yeah, ball joints, I got to tighten those down when we do ride heights, the shocks, check the bar out. I don't know if it's screwed up or not. Paper notes, I don't even know what that is. Get fuel tires, caster camber toe, ride heights. Anyway, it looks not so, well, it looks worse than it is. I had a moth fly into it while it was soaking wet and then wander around and then die, so I had to pick it off of there, so that kind of ruined it. But Let me tell you what, it definitely coated it really, really well. I did not have the issues I had last time where I had fish eyes and cracking and all sorts of stuff. I know it's going to get ruined anyway, but it did come out really well. I mean, look, I rolled the fenders, and I think I missed a whole bunch here, but you know what? I don't really want to paint it again, so I'm just going to leave it. This is incredibly thick. I don't even think that's cured yet. No, I can indent it with my fingernail. I got to clean this off of this rub rail here. I was able to actually take and rob the lettering off of the other fender because it was plastic and just peeled right off. And I was able to fix the lettering. See? A little bit of overspray though, and it looks a lot worse when the light is shining directly on it and shadowing it. But I'm going to take some brake cleaner and, you know, see how it wipes right off? I'll just clean it off and make sure it's nice and straight. I got to get some, I think I'll get some black wrap material that I got laying around and just make a little 8 there. Because I got to change the number. I got to reaffix all the rub rails to the doors. I think I cut this one down because it was broken, so not a big deal. But I got to get to working on this, and that has to go in. So I straightened it. I got to get the stuff cleared out of the way. I got to get this rear out, put this rear in, get these tires out of the way. I have so much to do, and I'm just circling the drain. We got to get to work. Geez, guys, I'm sorry. I keep forgetting that I need to film because this is the whole point of my channel. I got the rear out. I mean, when you're used to doing this type of stuff, they just fly right out. I mean, you're talking 4 bolts and a U-joint and a brake hose, and it just drops right out. And what I do is I have these little chains to hold the rear in without, you know, if you get the car up in the air for some reason, the springs aren't going to come flying out of it, so it doesn't screw up your handling or nothing. So I just hang it by that, and I don't even put a jack under it until I'm ready to pull it out. So it's basically just hanging on those chains, and then I jack it up and drop the thing out. But now I got to try to get this thing in there, and man, with age, it hurts more to carry and put heavy things in a car than it used to. And I'll be honest with you, the stock rear sucks to put in these cars without some kind of a special jack or a lift or something like that. But it's because the bottom of it is not flat. It's got angle to it, and it's weeble wobbly, and it really just sucks. These are easy. They have a big flat spot on the bottom of it, and they just straight into the car. No problem. So here we go. I'll actually remember to film this time. Rear's in. I gotta measure. Well, I'm probably gonna have to try to dig tires out, but that's gonna be an absolute nightmare. I gotta measure the wheelbase, or not wheelbase, track width. Measure that, make sure I get that set right with the wheel spacers, because it's different than where I run. Then I gotta bleed the brakes. Well, I'll bleed the brakes first, then check the track width. But I'm gonna need, like I said, tires to do that. Then I gotta get the sway bar fixed. Something's wrong with that. I might have to fix this body a little bit more. She's a little floppy there. Pull a rivet out, fix that, but that's going to have to do when I do the body, because I still have to do the rub rails and attach that, because I didn't do that until the paint dried. So there's those things. That's next on the agenda. Rear is in and bled. I still got to work on this door bar here just to get that put on. By the way, before I walk around this corner, I want you all to think back to when I tried to paint this car the last time and how much of a nightmare this was and how much it cracked and stuff, because I suck at painting things, especially with spray paint cans, because, you know, race car. This is why people typically don't do this, and they just throw a wrap on their car because it looks nicer and comes out nicer every single time. Now look at this side. This side's perfect, right? Completely perfect. I got away with that one. I'll walk over here now. Yeah, that's great. It was fine earlier. It's not now. I can't use this. Like, what the hell do I do with this? What is this? It's probably because I don't use primer because I'm stupid. So I'm going to have to completely strip this quarter panel, prime it, repaint it, and hope for the best yet again. So just remember, don't be lazy like me and try to cut corners. I mean, sometimes it works out, but when it doesn't, it's a real pain. So always prime. It's not going to take you that much longer. It's actually going to make it way better. Primer is your friend. I wish I knew that. Or I did know that, but I wish I took advantage of that. Last night's catching up with me because I did not get done here until very late, but I do have good news. She's down on scale pads, which is good. I keep looking it over. I don't think I have anything left that I have to change over. I'm waiting on the front shocks because I have to kind of set ride heights, and in order to do that with these, you don't have a jacking bolt. You got a stock shock, so you got to use those stupid screw adjuster cups. I know, that's the rules at this track. I want to race there. That's what I'm abiding by. I'm looking at the list, and nothing here seems to fit trying to make my car legal or fast at Stafford. So I'm going to go back inside. It's about 9 o'clock Wednesday night. I run into a roadblock. I need to text the crew chief to see if he wants to use a specific sway bar or not. I got a few to choose from, but I'm not sure which one I want to use. The one that we wanted to use does not appear to fit. So I got to go back to the drawing board on that. However, I got the track width set. I got the rear end in. I got the brakes bled. I got the correct carburetor spacer plate put on. I have the correct air cleaner base put on. Everything else should be the same. I got all the springs that we want to use in it. I fixed the body to be legal now. The fuel cell has to be a bladder style fuel cell, which I got. It's never left the car, and it's still good till 26 or something like that. I forget what the date on the bladder is. It's pretty far from now. So that means tomorrow, the only thing I really have to do is maybe spoon some tires onto some wheels and setup. Ride height, weights. I think this is about 1% left side weight, which is fine. And once we figure out the sway bar issue, we'll get that in there. And hopefully, we'll be okay. I'm trying to take Friday off of work so that I don't have to worry about getting out and rushing to get done. I'll be fine. If I have to load that day, we'll load that day. I can load in the morning. We can take off early afternoon and go up there. So body's done. Car's on blocks. Everything I just said. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, guys, it's Thursday. It is crunch time. I have to have this thing done tonight, and there's more than I thought to do. So I looked through the rules last night, and I got to change the center link in the steering because that's not legal. And I have to try to strip this paint off because that's a complete nightmare now. However, my mom hooked me up with some clean metal primer that she had in her basement and some stripper. So thanks, Mom. She also hooked me up with like stromboli and upside down apple cake, so I'm psyched about that. But I'm going to do this. I'm going to start the stripping process over here. And at the same time, I'll let that do its job. And I'm going to go hop onto the front of the car, and I'm going to start changing out the center link. I got to go find the other one. I got to dig it out of the parts bins here. After that, we still got to get the car on scales, which I think we should be close. I say that because I really kind of need it to be close, because if it's not, then I'm going to be in here all night. Once the car is on scales, I don't know if I have to put it on scales first or if I should go through this mountain of tires and I have to spoon a bunch of tires on, because I have at least 2 that are kind of good that are already on the car. I really could use 2 more, and I'd have to size them, and I need at least to have the sizes close so that I could scale. I got to fill the car with fuel. That's not a big deal. I have that already, so it's not too big a deal. I got the wheel spacers figured out. I'm freaking out already. Like, I tried to... Oh, I got to put the sway bar back in the car because I went to use one and it doesn't fit. So now I got to put the old one back in that I already took out. Okay, I'm starting to lose it, so I got to start focusing on stuff that needs to get done. So I got to get to that, and hopefully I'll actually remember to start filming again. Center link is in, and this is refixed again. There are runs in it, which kind of sucks, and it's because of the primer that I used. It was a little old, and I didn't clean the cap out, so oh God, I gotta get out of here. It came out heavy in some spots, light in some spots. I tried to just cover it, and I did a little too much because it would just kind of spray indiscriminately. Then I cleaned it out, and then it was fine. But then I painted over it, and it looks fine. There's some runs. I don't care at this point. At least it's now one color without it looking like a turtle shell. Again, the center link's in. Front's going on the ground. It's almost 7 o'clock. I don't even have the car on scales yet. And I have to spoon a whole bunch of tires onto some wheels. I think I only have to do 3. Or I think I'm only going to do 3. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. But while the car's in the air, I'm going to take tire pressures here. I think I'm going to set them all to like 20. It's probably a good middle of the road one. Take a few measurements and then figure out what I can use. As of this moment, I don't really know what I'm going to do for tires other than these that are a few years old. They have good tread, but rubber gets old. Rubber loses its tack. Things of that nature. I might have the ability to buy tires, but it's one race. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to really buy any. I still don't know what my plans for next year are, and maybe I'll buy 2, but I'd hate to go out there and finish 10th and spend money on 2 brand new tires, you know what I mean? Because I'm going to be starting last because I have 0 handicap. So I got to get the sway bar back in. We got to spoon tires. Once those happen, it can go on scales. Hopefully I can get all this done by 8 o'clock so that I got, you know, at least a little bit of time to get this stuff done, to get it scaled. Again, getting dark. Mosquitoes are going to start coming. So I'm going to start measuring tires and finding wheels that I can use. I think I'll just use these. There's 3 there. And I'll take a look at what tires I got. Maybe I'll do 4. Who knows? I don't know how many wheels I got left. So that's where I'm at. status report, 8:30 Thursday night. I got tires changed over. I got the car's going on 4 blocks right now. All the tire pressures are set. I got to go grab some fuel real quick. That's, a couple minutes. This side, I took all the tape and paper off, the masking stuff, whatever you call it. Doesn't look bad, except for the primer runs. The paint is fine, but the primer runs are whatever. And then there's this little telltale that might have painted there. Anyway, car's going on the ground. We're putting scales under it. We're putting fuel in it so that we have race weight. I got the sway bar back in. I hope I'm not forgetting anything. At least you can say that I'm dedicated, because this is really, oh boy, a lot of time, because I am taking all this time away from family to do this. And I don't even have the sponsor put back on the back quarter yet. I still got to try to make sponsors and stuff, or decals or whatever. And man, it's just, whew. All right. And then after I get it scaled, I got to put the shocks back in it. They're sitting up here. Man. And then I got to do caster camber toe. And I got to nut and bolt it, which means I'll probably be out here till midnight, but at least I get to sleep in tomorrow. 10 o'clock update. I think I'm actually a little bit ahead of where I expected. Car's been scaled. Everything is set. It's got fuel. It's got tires. I sized the ones that I was given. We're good here. I got the shocks in. We're at the point now where all I have to do is caster camber toe. Hopefully that's at least a little bit close. I know it's going to be off a little bit. I'm probably going to have to adjust some. But I think that's pretty much it. And then tomorrow I'll open this door and I'll get the trailer all sorts of loaded up, cleaned out. I got to play car roulette. And if I have enough time, which I really should do, no matter what, I'm going to have to work on decals. Specifically, I have to renumber the car. But that shouldn't be a big deal. I probably have some black duct tape hanging around. I'll just put a little line. It's going to be the 81. We are nearing the 11 o'clock hour. I've been awake for quite a while and working for pretty much the whole time. And I think it's finally done. I got 2 other tires outside. They're kind of old. They're at least 4 years old, maybe 3. I don't even know. I raced them in 2020. Do I look tired? Because I am. I'm gonna just take it pretty easy tonight. I have to get some gas tomorrow at some point. The car's got to go on the ground. I'm not sure if I'm going to buy tires or not, but that's going to have to wait for another video, because the next time I have a video out, we'll be racing this thing. So I'm going to go inside and charge my cameras up, maybe start throwing this video together. But I do want to say thank you all so very much for your time and your efforts and whatever you do for me. I appreciate all of it. Subscribing, telling your friends, all of that helps so much. I can't even begin to tell you how thankful I am for actually having any sort of audience whatsoever. And man, I'm going to try my best, because this is right back kind of in my wheelhouse. This is the stuff that I started racing before they turned them into essentially limited late models. Speaking of late model, I don't know when I'll get back on that thing, but it will be coming soon unless somebody wants to buy it. And to be fair, everything is for sale for the right price. This, that, my house, I don't know. I'm just talking out my butt. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Please subscribe if you have not already. It doesn't cost you anything. I'm trying to get through to Google, YouTube, whatever. try to get some subscriber base built up, get some ad revenue. Maybe they'll buy me a tire every once in a while. I don't think I'm gonna really make any money off of this, but I enjoy sharing in what I do with all of you. But for now, I think it's time to go to sleep and get up nice and early and have this done for tomorrow. So until next video, when I'm in this thing, thank you all again. I greatly appreciate it. And until next time.